I was never under the impression that this platform wasn't given to me for this reason. You know, to share my faith, what God has done, and I'll do that tonight. You know, I'll share a little bit of testimony outside of just the music, and it's part of what I do. And when I walk away, people usually thank me and say, you know, I love the music, but man, those testimonies, because God's been so good to me.
Because people all have a story.
Yeah.
And you know, and we say when we come to PASS, there's 4 different areas of PASS. One is our abstinence education. We're in the high schools. We reach about 60 schools, 15,000 students a year. Mandy heads that
That's
up.
awesome.
And we go in with the message of truth that, you know, God really created us to have one partner for a lifetime. And that it would be through marriage. And today, our kids don't know what marriage is. They don't understand what commitment is. And so we start out with that truth. And then in the center we have our crisis pregnancy, and an education program that goes with that called Abundant Life. And within that area, I would say that as Rick came in to the ministry in 2008, he really broke through a glass ceiling for PASS from the aspect that it was an all-women's ministry. Well, how does a woman get pregnant? She needs a man. And so the truth is that we have really been kind of convicted, and even our advertising and everything has changed now over the last several years, because we really are trying to be good stewards of what God's called us to do.
Yes.
And the truth is, God didn't call us to be in a ministry to make single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But a young man doesn't know he's going to be a father
Right.
until the day you lay that baby in his arms.
That's right.
Then he begins to realize that he's going to be a father.
I was talking to Ashton about that moment earlier, where I was excited when my wife told me we were pregnant with our first baby. I was very excited and everything, but at the same time I was like, oh, diapers.
Yeah.
You think about all the downers of
Right.
it. And I told, because we were talking about it, because, you know, he just doesn't see himself as a dad kind of thing. And I was like, man, you have no idea. I mean, the word treasure doesn't even begin. Doesn't even begin at the moment that you hold your baby in your hands. Just, my kids, he knows I adore them. I adore them.
And it is a transformation, and it is a God-given responsibility that
Tim knew the day she was.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Our young ladies, they come in for a pregnancy test. You say they're pregnant. Everything in their life changes. What they eat, how they sleep, every single thing they do changes. It doesn't change for him.
Right.
He doesn't really, understand what that is.
Getting up at the same time.
It's like, hey, that's okay. I can stay up all night and party all night. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to change my life. And we don't understand what commitment is to one another. We don't understand or value the woman's role any more than we do the men. No, we don't.
Yeah.
We see through a worldly perspective. We see the twisted side of that man.
Like that you're locked into it or something.
A lot of times we consider blessings things that are curses, and curses things that are blessings.
Yes.
Right.
And we don't understand what a blessing that commitment is.
Right.
The love that can be shared between a couple that is committed to one another so far surpasses any other kind of relationship. How are schools responding to the abstinence program?
Are you filming me? We're in more public schools than private schools, actually. We obviously cannot talk about God, but we talk about just the facts, like unplanned pregnancy. This is how many teenagers get pregnant every year. STDs,
but
regret.
Everybody's not doing it.
Right, like what's the actual statistic of kids having sex? That kind of thing. So we give statistics. We give I share stories of people that I know. I mean, we have different educators. There's 6 of us actually, and sometimes we'll share like our own testimony, whatever that is, and that's actually what really gets the students. Like that's when it clicks for them is when they hear our stories, And so sometimes I'll share mine and sometimes I won't, but I mean, we've been in a lot of these schools for over 12 or 15 years.
Yeah, and some for 20.
Yeah, some for 20, yeah.
Ministry.
Yeah, so, we're just trying to make it more of a realistic thing for them. The word abstinence, like you said, it's like people just, they hear that word and they're like, oh my gosh, what?
Are
That's
these
not
CC
even.
high schools in this local area?
Yeah, in the south suburbs of Chicago, yeah. So it's mostly high schools.
Do you do all 60 of them within a certain period of time?
We do every high school every semester. So when they're in their health classes, and then junior highs, depending, sometimes they're every semester, sometimes they're just once a year. And then we just got into a couple colleges.
And now we started this year a Live with Intention program, so the students that express an interest to be abstinent, they meet at one of our centers once a month, and they just get together and they hang out and they begin to understand what it is to be abstinent and to be leaders, because we feel like if you're going to take that kind of a stand, you really are in a leadership role, you know, and you need to be a good steward of what God's giving you right now. And so, and then actually we went from started ninth grade and go through seniors, and now some of our college kids come back because they you know, the comment always is, oh well, it's one thing to be absent when you're living at home with your parents. Yeah. It's another thing to be away at college. Yeah. And so now they almost need us in a different way than they ever expressed before.
And we have different presentations for different age groups. Like we've got, I mean, we teach the same thing in every presentation, but it's just, you know, specific to that age group, because obviously junior hires can't take in everything that maybe a college kid could take in.
You can move your van.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
People starting to come in?
No, but before they do.
Right. Yeah.
So.
What was I going to say?
And the other thing is the message is the same. It's just that when we go into Marian Catholic, we can give chapter and verse that backs up what we're saying, but the truth's still a biblical truth. And I think that that's what the kids are most hungry for, is a biblical truth. But we face a culture today that doesn't understand a father and a mother and the unique role that they play and how important the family unit is. Because we have come to a place where, you know, men are a commodity, and, you know, you're a service that can be provided when I need it as a woman. And, you know, we've really gotten away from what is that biblical understanding of why we were created, male and female.
So what is the connection with this church? Is this your church?
No, Bethel is a longtime supporter, and they have a pro-life ministry that's run out of this church that they've always supported us. And so Bethel is part of the ministerial in Lansing. And Howie goes to First Reformed, and so First Reformed is a member of the ministerial, and they do a summer concert at their church in the outdoor pavilion. And so then when it came time to book you, Howie felt like if we could have a nice inside, so we figured the size would maybe be the right thing to generate some income.
Are there churches that we're working with on tonight, like
Well, there's 65, aren't there, that are part of your...
Well, we sent, like, as far as advertising goes, is that what you mean?
just
Or being represented tonight. We don't really know how many churches may be represented tonight.
Yeah.
But then we sent out to 65 churches.
No, we sent out to over 80, actually.
80, okay.
Yeah, over 80 churches, advertised on Moody. Did they interview you, by the way?
They did.
They did, on Friday.
They did. So who interviewed you from Moody?
It was a team, a guy and a girl.
Oh, that's great.
On the morning show, or?
I believe so.
Really?
Oh, that'll get off.
Awesome, okay.
Ooh, you're excited.
That's so
Wow.
good. That's so good.
So that went out.
We normally don't advertise on the radio, so it's like we're trying to do these new things so I just really
We're hoping for a
wondering
big
how many
crowd.
people are going to come, you know?
I hope it's effective.
You know who knows who's going to be here today?
Who?
The Lord himself.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how many.
He does. He does. And so anyway, as we have gone down this course, we really feel that we're encouraging the father of the baby to come and the mother of the baby to keep coming back for classes. So we meet once a month in a group setting, and once a month they meet with their advocate. And our goal is to develop about a 3-year relationship with the couple, so that over the course of that time they may change their life, like another person who walked the earth for 3 years and changed the life for all of us. And so we really are trying to help them identify healthy relationships, the purpose of a relationship, the purpose of how God created you. And when you realize the culture may say one thing, but God had a different plan for your life. And so we really work on that. And then our fourth pillar